We're Cassie
and Emily,
and this is Book Bits and Chill, a podcast where we talk about books, movies, and pop culture the way that you actually experience them.
This show is for type B readers, people who love stories but don't want the pressure, perfection, or the participation trophies.
Hit follow, grab a drink, and let's talk about it.
I need everyone to be serious for a second because Why was Off Campus made specifically for women who grew up watching CW dramas, reading Wattpad, and renting rom-com DVDs from Blockbuster.
This show literally felt like someone fed 2014 Tumblr, early BookTube, and every iconic romance movie into a blender, and somehow it worked.
This episode is our full spiral about what worked, what didn't, and the scenes we cannot stop thinking about, and whether people should read the books before or after watching.
All right, let's talk about the show Off Campus and the deal first. Okay.
Ooh.
So, overall, obviously this is technically an adaptation, but we know that Emily is quite the stickler on these adaptations. So, do we feel like this adaptation worked, or did it feel like more of a blend of an adaptation and a CW teen drama?
I knew that this adaptation wasn't going to work from the very beginning, and do you want to know why?
Yeah.
Because
course.
These books, and we talked about this when we read them, were written in 2015. And the show is coming out in 2026. And the storylines and the men were just never going to be the same with a 10-year difference.
That's so true. And you know what? Here's my thing. I think if you read these books maybe when they came out or a few years ago or whatever, maybe they have this core cult following. But when I read this book, I was like, I don't know how this show is going to be good. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. And the show was 4,000 times better than the book. Off Campus, the show made the book, the deal, astronomically better in my mind. Maybe took it from a 2-star to a 4-star book or story overall.
I was going to say, am I making this up or did you literally rate this book 1 star?
2. If I rated it 1 star, I would have literally DNF'd it. I don't think I've ever rated something 1 star.
But some people in our book club did rate it 1 star. People were horrified by the cheesiness. They were horrified by the lingo. There were so many text acronyms that were used throughout the story.
I mean, the one thing that I will credit this book for is that it taught me what a spank bank was, and that's huge for me because I was in college in 2015 and I had literally never heard of that before.
I knew what a spank bank was, but you learned some special things growing up in my household.
So that was kind of my biggest fear going into the adaptation, that it was just going to be bad and I was going to waste my time. And I was obviously pleasantly surprised. Did you have a big fear going from reading the deal to watching Off Campus?
No, I think that I have a fear with all of these book adaptations coming out in general, which is they're not going to have the budget to do all of these shows well. So I was like, this is going to be so cheesy, which the book was cheesy too. So I wasn't going to be disappointed, but I do think there was an underlying fear that everybody wanted it to match Heated Rivalry.
True. Heated Rivalry set this hockey romance baseline for people who either read hockey romance or not. Actually, no. I feel like if you've read hockey romance, those face-off books are borderline the baseline.
Yeah.
But if you have only watched Heated Rivalry, that's the blueprint. That's it. And this adaptation, this off-campus show, had a lot to live up to because Heated Rivalry was art. That was a work of art hanging in the Louvre. And honestly, Off Campus was up there for me. Not at the same level, but up there.
100%. I never expected for it to reach the level of obsession that Heated Rivalry did. I think I just thought it was going to be a good show to binge watch in the background while you're folding laundry or something. And I'm like, no, I was glued to this television.
Locked in, literally for 8 hours straight, by the way.
Absolutely. The only thing keeping me from watching this show was actual life responsibilities.
Yeah, unfortunately. Unfortunate life responsibilities. I think I literally sent a note to Emily at like 1:30 in the morning, and I was like, I just finished this show and I am a shell of a human right now.
Yes.
I don't know what to do with myself.
It's giving when people are like, I stayed up till 3 a.m. to binge read a book, and I have no regrets.
100%. So I think I would like to start with, before we get into the nitty gritty of the show, do you think that people need to read the book before watching the show? I have a very specific opinion here, but I'm interested in what you thought.
Absolutely not. I am actually warning people off of reading the books.
You mean that, like, literally, even The Deal, which you gave 3 stars, you would not tell people to read before they watched Off Campus?
No, I'm so worried that everybody that's obsessed with Off Campus will read The Deal and then, like, get the ick of a Garrett Graham.
That's so interesting that you say that, because I actually have the opposite opinion, where
Really?
yes, I actually do think that if you watch the show, if you watch Off Campus and you were obsessed with it and like you need more, I actually think reading The Deal is a great way to get that, because it's definitely cheesier. It's not as good 100%, but like you do get so much of the banter between Garrett and Hannah. Like he's way sillier, like more jockey, but then like you get the like deeper emotional impact of the things that they went through. And then you also just get so many bonus scenes between the two of them that you didn't get in the show.
I guess. But you know what I think is
delicious.
Like, do you know what's jading my opinion is that I read the second book, and the second book I actually gave like 1.5 stars. Like it was so bad. And
why
so
did
like
you finish it?
Because I needed to. And to be able to like give you this opinion, I needed to finish the book.
Of course, for science.
So I'm like, are you worried that if you recommend people read the books that they're gonna like The Deal, but then like yell at us for the rest of the series?
Like I said, I didn't love The Deal at all. Like it was fun, whatever, but it wasn't something that I would ever be like, that is one of my favorite romances. Like I remember when I closed Heated Rivalry, the book, before reading the show, I was like, who am I? I am a changed person. I have been reborn. I have been baptized in the church of Shane Hollander and Ilya Rozanov. I could not have felt farther from that with The Deal. And so it was interesting to me, because like going into it, I was like, oh, these fun scenes are making me giddy and I'm having a blast with this. But all the changes that they made to the show, I think just like made the experience better.
Right. And that's why I want to get into like what came different in this show and why I think it made it so much better than the book.
Yes, agreed. Let's talk about it, because there were some scenes that I was very nervous about them adapting.
Yes. And I was a firm believer that if they cut the masturbation scene out of this show, that I was going to riot on the doorsteps of Prime Video.
Could not agree more, with pitchforks.
I was like, if there was one scene in The Deal that had my jaw on the ground, it was them masturbating together.
Yeah, and then like watching Breaking Bad at the same time. Like it was a wild scene, and I loved that the author Elle Kennedy included that, because it was just such a great moment of like breaking down these walls between the two of them, and this like intense vulnerability between the two of them, where I was like, how the fuck are they going to put that on a big screen?
Yes.
And they delivered on it so perfectly.
The toe curls.
The toe curls. Oh my God. The toe curls, the head back. The breathing, like when they did like the close-ups of them like breathing super, I was like, oh my God, this is visceral.
When they pan down and you can like see his wrist going up and down. I was like actually in shock, but I was so happy.
I was feeling every feeling, I think, imaginable. It was so perfectly done. And you know what's crazy? I watched an interview of the actors, I think Ella and Belmont.
Yeah.
And Belmont was saying that I guess like the timing that they filmed the scene or something, they like didn't have enough time to finish it. And so he had to like go back and finish his part by himself. So he was like, it was literally just me and, like, the camera crew, and I was like, "All right, guys, like, avert your eyes."
He was literally in a rolling office chair.
Yeah. Okay, but here's my other question that this
Yeah.
sparked for me. What is it about these scenes that are clearly written for the female gaze
Yeah.
and a chair, a one chair moment,
Yes!
a one chair, if we want to call it a trope, let's call it a trope, but what the fuck is it about the chair? Like,
Oh my god, I totally forgot about that.
Ilya and Heated Rivalry,
Yes!
same thing. This moment in Off Campus, it wasn't even in the deal. I don't think he sat in a chair. Like, what is it about the chair? And like thinking about in Fourth Wing, like with the chair scene, I'm like, why? There's a chair, and I'm instantly gone.
I have no idea though. Like, is it because this space is like small and compact?
I don't know.
Is it because it's like
know.
a POV type of thing? Like, only you can only get that POV if somebody's like sitting in a chair.
Maybe, but I'm also thinking about like someone sitting in front of me in a chair doing weird things, and like I'm not into that. Like, that's bizarre.
I'll try it for you guys and report back.
For science.
For science only.
Okay.
But you know what?
What?
Well, you know, there was another Dicky moment that I like to call it a Dicky moment that was changed for the show.
Yes, what was that?
So in the book, Garrett Graham, when him and Hannah break up, he does this campus-wide hands-off rule where like no man is allowed to touch Hannah because he said so.
Yes, because she broke up with him.
Yeah.
And he didn't know why. Yeah, I think that so this is so toxic, but I also was like, in the book, that is so much more believable, you know, that like some like full of himself jock would do that, who's like in love with this girl and like trying to call her on her bluff.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting that they changed who broke up with who in the show.
Same.
Clearly to deliver on this like more significant emotional impact probably in the show.
I didn't really like that.
I didn't mind it, but then I was like, it doesn't make any sense that they just like threw in the hands off rule like out of nowhere, and then he was like, "That wasn't me."
No, the whole like him breaking up with her, because in the book she breaks up with him because the dad is like, Garrett's going to like wreck his hockey career because he starts losing games while he's dating Hannah.
Yeah.
And so, like, she breaks up with him because the dad pressures her. I thought that was a fine storyline. In the show, they make it where, like, Garrett breaks up with her because of his own insecurities. And I don't know, it just, like, was the only time in the show where I was like, ugh, he's being such a nasty man.
I do think I didn't mind it because I think if you were to show him getting in that fight with the guy who assaulted Hannah.
Yeah.
And there was like no blowback to that in the book. Like Hannah was like, "Oh, you know, I got it. Like, it's fine." Like, that would not happen. Like, if you watch that, there's no way that you're not going to be upset. And so I actually liked that they did that and like gave that to her and like gave her that empowerment.
Yeah.
And I also liked that they like had Garrett show that insecurity because that was such a part of his storyline throughout the book. But like, you have to sandwich so much into the show that you didn't really get that as much the whole time.
I know. I just really struggled with him like breaking Hannah's heart because like in the book, he never broke her heart.
Yeah.
So that's why I struggled with it. But you know
That's
that the toxic women of the internet are actually loving that fight scene.
Oh my God, yeah, I saw that the other day. They're like, why would I actually be so turned on by that?
Yeah, they're like, I'm sorry, but if a man threw down for me like that and then looked at me in the sidelines, I would jump his bones.
I, too, would probably have Hannah's reaction and be like, what in the fuck just happened? Which also, I overall really appreciated the treatment in the show of all of the triggers.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job of balancing it, of showing it in an authentic way, but not in a way that it took over the show, like where it was like you understood why it made the characters into who they were, but it wasn't like the primary storyline.
Yeah, and I think that the show very much had this, like, overlying feeling of just, like, being one of those, like, CW type shows, One Tree Hill, like, Gossip
Yeah.
Girl, like, it's more of, like, a feel-good show, like, you don't wanna be, like, emotionally devastated while watching it.
Yes, I totally agree. Which also some interesting cinematic choices, which made us feel like they made this show not just for the female gaze, but also for the millennial gaze,
Yeah,
because
100%.
there were so many parallels in the like the scene setups and the cinematography and things
Yes!
like that to like huge romance movies from when we were growing
Yeah.
up.
Do you think they did that on purpose, or do you think that there's just
I
been
don't
so
know.
much media made that we're all just finding the crossover? No, it was really apparent.
It felt very apparent. I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, so the one that I do think is a little bit of a reach is the 16 Candles one.
No,
'Cause
that's
it's
what
like,
I thought was the most.
really? Oh,
If
wait,
you
no. I'm thinking of the cake scene that everyone compares to the Allie and Dean when
Oh,
Allie
no,
and
yeah,
Dean
that
are
one
playing
was such a
chess.
stretch, but the other
Yeah.
one where,
The
like,
waiting by the
Garrett's
car, for
standing
sure.
on his car, it's literally shot for shot.
Copy paste.
Yeah.
Copy paste. 100% agree. No, I agree with that. I liked that. But then there were like a few other ones where I don't know. I was like, I feel like we love the nostalgia in
The
this. And we're
Legally
like,
Blonde bunny costume was copy paste.
oh, I mean, yeah. But that was like there were costumes from across the board.
Yeah.
Like the Top Gun one with Maverick, the
Yeah.
J-Lo dress. I'm like,
Right.
the J-Lo dress belongs to millennials and millennials alone. See,
That's what I'm saying.
this is where I'm like, I think that millennials, like our brains have been just poisoned by the amount of unbelievable rom-coms that we grew up with.
Yeah.
And like we just got so many iconic moments and lines and scenes and whatever that we're like, oh, there's so
Yeah.
many parallels everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing as when you read, like, the same tropes in romance books over and over again. And you're
100%.
like, oh my God, that's so copy and paste from that Emily Henry book. And it's like, no, there's just only so much to write.
Right. There's only so far we can take this. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the show only moments because they're, like I said,
Yes.
off campus in my mind was better than the deal. And I think it's because of certain choices. And the first choice was Allie and Dean being front and center for
Yes.
most of the show. I mean, that they almost stole the show for me. Like
They don't
almost.
show up
So
till
close.
book 3. Like, quite literally, Allie is with Sean until book 3.
Yeah, and then what, episode 2, we're getting them dancing on the floor to
Yeah.
J-Lo? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh!
And
I didn't know I needed this.
I was literally jaw on the floor, and I think that if they would have not had those Allie and Dean moments, would you have liked the show as much? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
I don't
know.
know. That's hard because I
Like-
do love Hannah and Garrett's romance,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know.
I
I
loved
loved
Garrett
them
and
so
Hannah's
much.
romance, but like the actual heart palpitations I was having from the Dean scenes, like I needed that mix.
I desperately needed that mix. Like, it does feel like in Heated Rivalry, like getting Scott and Kip's story, like that was one of my favorite episodes of the show, hands down.
Do you think they
So-
copied that from Heated Rivalry?
I don't know.
Well, so
If they did, it's a great formula, so I support it.
So I saw a clip that the director said there was originally going to be 10 episodes in the season and they cut it back to 8. And one of the episodes that got cut was a full Allie and Dean episode.
No!
I know. And people are in the comments like calling for the unreleased tapes. They're like, send
Release
the
the
script.
tape!
They're like, put the script out.
Send this to the Supreme Court. I need this released yesterday. Okay.
I know.
I'm about to go to law school to simply work on this case.
But I get it kind of because like would it give away too much for their season? Like we got a taste of them this season and you
Yeah.
don't want to like give away too much, give away the whole cake.
I guess. Okay, but here's my problem. Here is my issue. we as millennials grew up with TV shows that quite literally had like 20 plus episodes
Yeah,
per
it was like
season. Like
excessive in a way.
it was amazing. Like you got a Thanksgiving episode, you got
There's
a Christmas
always a
episode.
Thanksgiving episode.
We got the whole deal. We're with them in the summer, in the fall, in the winter.
Yes.
And I loved that. And we don't get that anymore.
I
Like now it's
know.
like we get these limited series and they're like all like an hour an episode and they all come out at one time. And then it's like, okay, well, now what do I do? And then I go on the internet 2 seconds later and everyone's already watched the show.
Oh my God.
And it's
I
all spoiled.
actually hated how, and like everybody has to have their own experience, but I hated how fast some of you were watching this show because I had to avoid the internet for like 3 days. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't have time to watch 8-hour-long episodes in one day.
It was too much. And you know what it also took away from? Just the general ability to rally behind a collective thing that we're all obsessed with. I loved that about Heated Rivalry, where it started out with the 2 first episodes. Fine, great. And then every week, we had to wait for a new episode and we all watched it at the exact same time. We all talked about it at the exact same time. And then we waited the next week and then we talked about the next one the next week. Like
we were a united country for 2 months.
It was the closest that I've felt to us just being in an actual peaceful state as a nation.
Yeah. Well,
in my entire life.
I heard they're thinking about for the second season releasing it 1 episode at a time. Do you know what I was obsessed with in the show that was nowhere in the book? The drunk Shakespeare scene.
Oh my God. I was literally obsessed with that. It was brilliant. I was laughing out loud the entire time. And I also was like, I want to go to this.
Yes. I was like, were these parties happening in college? Like, is this what the theater kids were doing? Because we need to go back.
Listen, I was a thespian in high school and no one was talking about drunk Shakespeare. And I'm like, what? Where did this idea come from?
We shouldn't have been drinking in high school.
Well, that's true. But we all know what was happening. Anyways, I think that I would like to go to one of these parties in 2026 in my 30s also.
Let's do a birthday party that's drunk Shakespeare.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. When my next birthday, I'm calling it.
Yeah, let's do it. It would be so fun. I just like loved the 2 groups coming together, like the thespians and the jocks. And then like nobody was like being shy about it and everybody was participating. There was the behind the scenes drama.
Oh, it was so good. And I also loved how they kind of wrapped up the storyline with the like kind of jealous girl and Garrett too. Like I thought that was really good. And I also liked how they like pulled in Justin into that too, because I felt like that also the Justin change for the show was brilliant. Like making him a musician was so smart. Like
because in the book he was like a football player, and the whole thing was that she did want to date him, and it was the whole jealousy thing still. Like she was using Garrett, but it was like it was like much more drawn out. I feel like in the book, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. You go through like almost 70% of the book, I feel like, thinking that she might go for Justin. I did love that they made him like be a musician. I thought that just made the connection with him and Hannah so much more real.
Yeah, which that was a big change from the book. Was in the book, she already had this like partner that was just like this other guy that was in theater and he was really bossy and she didn't like working with him, and Garrett like gives her the confidence to like go on her own. And so I thought it was interesting that they made Justin that guy.
I agree. I thought that the way that they did it too, I was like wondering if there was going to be this big fight over like how much of the song that he was changing and whatever, but she was so passive about it. She's like, yeah, you know, that's Justin's song now.
Did you like his song, Yellow Rain?
Yellow Rain.
I don't know that. I like for a second it was like, oh yeah, I like this. And then I was like, wait, maybe I just like Josh Houston singing this.
I think that was what I enjoyed too. But honestly, the singing in the show was very impressive. I tend to be very nervous about musical shows.
Yes.
That aren't Glee. And I think that they did a really good job. Like I was thinking that this would be like giving you don't watch Grey's Anatomy, but like the Grey's Anatomy like singing show, which
Yeah.
they also used to do back in the
Every
day as a
season.
millennial. Every season there was a song and dance episode.
Musical episode every season, no matter the show.
So great. Like, why did we need to do that?
I don't know. Maybe they were trying to get Tonys.
Maybe EGOTs for their actors.
I really, really hate like singing scenes in shows. I get like such secondhand embarrassment because usually if you're like good at acting, singing, dancing, like you're usually like a kind of average at one of those. And I will say the actress that was playing Hannah was a very good singer, but it was still like a little cheesy. Like the end singing scene, I was like kind of getting like secondhand embarrassment.
I know. I mean, it's just hard to pull off those singing scenes like in front of a crowd and you're like expecting it to like seem real that they're delivering on it. Like that was kind of like in High School Musical where it's like, okay.
Right. Like we know this isn't a Coldplay concert.
Yeah. We know we're not watching U2.
And the singer's just like always so emotional and she's like, and I'm like,
I do think though that like gets me into the casting. The casting for Hannah and Garrett was perfect.
Spot on.
Not one single note. Like actually from the book to the show, teleported from book to show. Like insane how spot on it was.
And not that bodies matter, but they literally somehow found a girl that was exactly how Hannah's body was described in the deal. Like literally, like if you would have drawn a picture from the description in the book, it would have been this actress.
And Garrett's, the guy Belmont, who played Garrett in the show, his ability to portray his like yearning and the chemistry between them just with his eyes, like with his literal eyeballs. I was like, what is happening? Like,
with his jaw ticks.
Been? With the jaw ticks.
There was that scene where she's like telling him about the like assault was another hockey player and you can see his jaw clench. And I'm like, how do you act a jaw clench?
I literally don't know, and he did it. He did it so well. And they also were very, like, I think the actress, Elle, who plays Hannah, is 19. But I think the rest of the cast was in their 20s, like, well into their 20s. I think Belmont's, like, 28.
Yeah.
And they were all very believable college kids also.
100%. Yeah, they were looking very young and very fit and youthful. Youthful.
Drinking from the fountain of youth. I do think an interesting story that I saw online was that the guy who plays Dean, his name is Steven something, he had not read the books, but his fiance had read them. And I guess she was like, you would literally be the perfect Dean, like years ago. And then he ended up playing him, which is so crazy.
But you know what's so crazy about that? Can you imagine being married to somebody that is the perfect Dean? Literally, I'm sorry. She is going to need to like protect him at all costs because people are going to be hunting him down.
I don't know. I feel like I equate Dean's character to like in romance books or romantasy books, like the Cassian, like the Golden Retriever.
But those are my guys.
Those are your guys. Exactly.
Those are my guys.
And he is very much a Golden Retriever MMC. And I feel like I wouldn't be afraid to be like married to someone like that. Cause it's like, you know, that they are devoted.
Oh no, I'm just kidding. Like he's not going to step out on her, but I'm just saying like maybe chain him to the bed for a minute. For maybe other reasons too.
Don't allow him to leave the home.
Yeah. But you know what is so crazy about this show and Heated Rivalry is that they used all unknown, well, not unknown, but these were people that have now previously been in like huge blockbuster shows or movies.
Yeah, totally. Which I love that they're doing that, by the way. Like, I think that is obviously such a great way to like bring new talent to the forefront, but also it allows you to actually perfectly cast these characters, you know, versus trying to be like, oh, we want this big name, and so we're gonna have to change X, Y, and Z about the character's traits or whatever to like make it work for this person.
Right. And I also think that it gives the audience the ability to like really imagine those people as those characters. Like I was like, that is not Belmont, that is Garrett Graham. Like that is Garrett Graham somebody has presented to me. And if it would have been like, you know, a famous actor, like back in the day, Zac Efron. I would have been like, okay,
Yeah.
that's Zac Efron playing Garrett Graham.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Okay, we need to talk about what we think is going to happen in these future seasons
I
because
have a lot of emotions about this.
I think it's been said already that it's going to technically be Dean and Allie's season, but then I was also watching an interview with the director who said that she wants the remaining seasons to feel like more of an ensemble of stories. Like she doesn't want it to feel like it's Dean and Allie's season or it's Logan and whoever's season. Like it's like
Yeah.
all of their season and we're like growing up with them.
Okay.
Which I think I actually really appreciate personally.
I appreciate that until I'm waiting for a full Dean and Allie season and it becomes half a Logan season. You know?
That's 100% going to happen, by the way.
So they dropped Logan's like FMC name in the show. They didn't show her, but they were like, Grace Ivers, you won the raffle. And that's who Logan's FMC is. And
oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, that's who it is.
Okay.
But I have a lot of feelings about Logan's storyline because in the book, Logan's story is that his dad is a alcoholic and he owns this car shop or whatever, fixing car shop. And like, what is the name of a place where you fix
a mechanic?
A mechanic shop.
A fixing car shop.
And at the shop, there's his older brother. And his older brother was like, I will take care of the car shop while you're playing hockey so that you can have your little moment. But once you graduate, you are not going to the NHL. You are coming to this car shop so I can go live my life for a couple of years. And so Logan's whole turmoil is that he really wants to go to the NHL, but he can't because he made this promise to his brother.
Yeah.
And then in the show, he doesn't have a brother. And not a dad, it sounds like.
You know, I actually don't mind that change because I don't, like that is such a weird story to me. Like, I made this promise to my brother, so I just have to keep it instead of going to the NHL and like being pro and like potentially being able to buy out the car fixing shop. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
It was weird. It was a weird story.
I very much appreciate that is hopefully fucking changing because that's insane.
It was a weird story. So like,
if I don't watch that on my TV, I'd be like, what?
So I think that the change is good, but the reason I have a lot of emotions about it is because I think that they used the first season as a true like book to screen adaptation. Right. But I do not think the rest of the seasons are about to follow the book, like even like 30%.
No, I mean, actually, I don't know. I feel like maybe Allie and Dean's story they'll follow a little bit more closely, which I haven't read that book, so I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I do feel like people seem very protective of that, you know.
Yeah. All I've read is that like in the book he's like way more of a dick.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and people don't love that. They're like, just fair warning when you get to the Allie and Dean book, like he's kind of a dick for a while. Like he calls Allie like a bitch at one point.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, we love that he's a golden retriever in the show. We're gonna take that.
Yeah.
I do think, though, that they are 100% going to steal the show. Like,
yeah,
I just don't see another union giving me as many feelings as I had when I was watching Dean and Allie on my screen.
The actress that plays Allie is so freaking good for that role. Like, she gives us such this, like, confident, unique energy.
I literally want to be her. I'm obsessed with her. Yeah. She was so perfect for that role and she played it so well. Like she showed the like emotional depth of like going through this breakup and being this relationship person and trying to follow her dreams while also being kind of held back by her boyfriend. Like all of these things she played so perfectly. And I was like, I need way more of you.
Yeah, everybody on the internet is saying like, don't cut your bangs just because you saw Allie in Off Campus.
Please.
Which is so true. I don't know how she gets her hair like that, but we need a tutorial.
We do need a tutorial, but also maybe not because like people will go and try it.
Yeah.
Why are Allie's bangs from off campus the equivalent of Ilya's butt in Heated Rivalry? Like
Yeah.
everyone was literally after Heated Rivalry was like, give us the glute routine, bro. Release it.
100%. Which these men in this show, like when they showed the first scene of them all working out together, like in the house, I was like, where were these men when we were in college?
I can't even get into that. They were at the hockey rink. That's where they were.
We were not in a hockey friendly state. We needed to go somewhere else.
I was nowhere near a hockey rink, let me tell you, until maybe like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to know your final rating on the show versus the book. So we normally give like our specific ratings on the adaptation versus the book. So I would love to know your adaptation score for this.
Adaptation score, I would say, is like a 3.
I would agree. I was maybe gonna give it a 2, borderline.
It follows this correct storyline. It's just updated for a modern audience.
That's fair. That is totally fair. Okay, I like that. We'll give it a 3. Okay, the next one is emotional impact.
Oh my God, emotional impact. I was sick for 2 days afterwards because I couldn't recover. 5.
Literal 6.
I had a stomach ache.
I had a stomach ache. I was nauseous. I was literally sending Emily SOS voice notes at 1:30 in the morning.
And
then watching
bags under my eyes.
I literally watched fan edits for like 30 minutes after. Like I didn't go to sleep until like 3:00 in the morning because I was just like doom scrolling on TikTok, just
It's
like
a
trying to get the dopamine hit.
Collective illness. Yeah, I haven't felt happiness since it was over.
Yeah.
Emotional impact, 5.
I haven't felt happiness since it was over. Okay, casting. I think we're both a 5.
Yes, casting a 5, 100%.
Perfect. Okay, and then the last question is, should people read the book before they watch the show?
I think you should read The Deal, but as you just heard me explain Logan's book, maybe just stop there.
Just end it.
I think The Deal provides good context for the show, but I don't think you need to read the other books.
No, I actually am intrigued by Dean and Allie's book, so don't count me out there.
Yeah. Get back to us after you see him call her a bitch.
Oh, God. All right. Final verdict on this is I think the show 100% watch. The book, check out the summary before, but it could be a fun read if you want something easy. I think that kind of wraps it up for us.
Yeah.
Next week, we are talking about what we read in May and what we're planning to read in June. And there's a lot of fun stuff there because
it's summertime, baby. Like summertime with the vibes.
Summertime.
We're ready.
We're ready. All right. Well, we'll see you same time, same place. Grab your blankets, grab your book boyfriends, and we'll see you then.
See ya.